Hey, how's it going? Week 16. Let's just get right into it. I have no idea how long this is going to be. The mission I played today, I have struggled with more than I did. I'm playing on Hardened, and I struggled with more than I did back when I played it on Veteran 6 months ago when I played the game through. I don't know what it was. I just could not get it handled. So I'm going to ramble for as long as I feel like, and as long as I'm not over about 14 minutes, I will cut different parts of when I die and have to replay things to make the video work. And hopefully I'll be able to get pretty close to the exact timing of it. Anyways, what did I do this last week? This last week I really settled into my routine. Well, I have settled into my routine because starting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I didn't have my normal friend commitments that I would be doing after work. But aside from that, I set it into my normal routine. As I was kind of settled in last week, I've been consistently waking up around, at first it was 7 a.m., which was perfect. It was before my alarm for work. I'd have a little bit of time. More recently, it's been 6 a.m. I go to bed at somewhere between 10:30 and 11, and I wake up at 6. This morning, even, I woke up at 5, and I looked at my clock and said, absolutely not, and forced myself to rest and go back to sleep for an hour. But it's been really nice being able to take a bit of the morning to do some cleaning around the house for about 15 minutes and then go on a walk and basically get started for the day. And then it's only 7:30, and I still have an hour before I would even need to leave for work. Or like today I didn't need to leave till 11:30, so by the time I was done I still had 4 hours, 4.5 hours. It's really nice. I find that when I used to stay up until 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, anytime past like 11:30 started to become whatever, is the best way I can put it. And that I would do sort of whatever and not really think about it. I would scroll on Reels or, swap between 10 different YouTube videos. I was never really focused with what I was doing. But for some reason, by getting up in the morning, because it's light out and the day has just started, I'm really good at, not even intentionally, but parsing that time out. Like I said, doing my walk. And then today I came back and I played games for about an hour or so. And then I ended up just cleaning for about 2 hours. But on other days, I played games for a bit, and then I read for a bit, and then I had breakfast. And I sort of chunked these hour, 45 minutes, half an hour segments without even intentionally doing it. And I think that's much better use than whatever I was doing till 1 or 2 a.m. This is gonna make going back to my D&D group really hard for the times, the last little bit that I need to finish out my campaign. Because I'm gonna be honest, I get tired by 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and I kind of have to push to 11, and we play till 11, and I don't get back till 2 a.m. So I'm gonna have to figure out what exactly I'm gonna do on those nights to be able to make it through and not crash on my way home. But hopefully I'll get it figured out. Otherwise, I'm really loving this getting up early and going to bed late at night or early at night. It also helps that I'm just setting a sort of a timeline. So it's 9:18 right now. By about 10 o'clock, I try to say, all right, I'm wrapping everything up. I'm going to go lay in bed and read. And then whenever I really feel like I need to sleep, I'll go to sleep. I kind of ramble through stuff. I've barely even gone through the recap of the week, and I've already hit some of the points for this week. But let's finish that up. I was really excited yesterday. I didn't plan to go to the gym, but once again, I was up early, did everything I wanted, and then got bored. So I looked at the time and said, I've got 2 hours, I'll go to the gym. And I've, in the last 3 weeks, hit every one of my goals for running, to where I am now consistently, and this sounds super impressive, but I'm consistently running a mile at 6 miles an hour, which I have been able to do a couple times in my life, but I am just not naturally athletic. I have a really bad stamina. So the fact that I set myself up to slowly build up from half a mile up to a mile with the intention of at some point I'm going to need to fail and take a little bit of extra time. The fact that I was able to push through it and that I was able to get to the point where I do just run a mile now feels incredible. Aside from that, that is that week. So let's talk about a little bit what I've talked about already in a week of mindfulness. I think this is a good name for what I was doing this week, which was just being mindful of everything around me and hopefully myself as well. So as I've already mentioned, I've been being mindful of my time. Instead of wasting my time, I am I'm using it a lot better, using it to read, using it to clean, doing all of that. I'm also being, I had another thing to say on that, but I can't remember. Oh yes, I've also installed an app that every time I go to open, right now it's just Instagram, but if anything else becomes like a problem app, I have to wait 5 seconds before it officially opens. And there have been times where, I kid you not, I open up Instagram, see that 5-second pop-up, I go, oh wait, I wasn't trying to go to Instagram, I don't need this. Hit close, and immediately it takes me to the home screen, and I click Instagram again, and it opened again. And I went, wow, I just closed it to reopen it. That's really bad. So I've even moved it off of my homepage. Now I have to scroll through my apps to find it. And there have been a couple times where I went to instinctively press it, and I looked and went, oh, it's not there. And I think it's nice. It sucks when I intentionally want to go on Instagram to message someone, or if I just do want to scroll, then I have to wait. But it's a small price to pay for being a lot more mindful of what I'm doing. I was being mindful of my space, the apartment I live in, and more so, or not more so, but also my car. It was winter, so my car is kind of messy, or it's dirty on the inside. It definitely needs a vacuuming, but it was so cold that it didn't feel good to go out and do that. And my apartment as well has been kind of cluttered. It's not messy or dirty, but there's a lot of stuff, and I need to be more mindful of my place and my things specifically. I own a lot of just random stuff that I look at and go, oh, it's so small, I'll just keep it, you never know. And I've decided to stop doing that. I had a pair of half-broken earbuds in my junk drawer, in my drawer in the kitchen, and I just said, nope, not using these, toss them. I had a candle that could still be used, and I looked at it and went, I haven't used this thing in 2 years, I'm tossing it. So I'm getting to the point where if I'm not using it, I need to get rid of it, because there's no reason to just have a bunch of stuff when you don't need it. I cleaned out my closet, so now I have room to put a couple extra things. I think it's going to immediately just get full again as I store some of my chairs for my table, but that's fine. If I'm using it to store things that, hey, if I get a bunch of extra people over, then that's perfect. And if within the next 2 or 3 months I don't use them, I'm going to move them downstairs to my basement storage for the long term. So it's nice having that clean. I also cleaned my bathroom and my hallway, and while I haven't re-put in the rugs that were there, it is such a different mindset when I walk in and I see mopped and swept and just perfectly open floors and everything is clean and put everywhere. I can really tell just looking around right now. Yeah, my living room just has a lot of things, and while it's a little bit cluttered, nothing is, again, messy or dirty per se. I think moving and getting rid of some of the stuff and moving things to where they need to go is going to make this room feel a lot more open, and it's going to feel a lot better mentally. And as soon as I can get this place fully clean, I've been really good at keeping everything clean. My kitchen, of which I used to have plates and like dirty plates and napkins and all sorts of things just placed around, I've been very good about, if I walk in there and I see something that shouldn't be there, I just take care of it immediately. Similarly with my desk. Every time I get up from my desk, I look if there's any trash or anything that doesn't need to be there, and I grab it and I move it. So I think I'm going to be having a really good turning point of keeping things clean. Now, if only I can be mindful of my microphone and stop turning away from it and sort of muting the volume a bit. Alright, let's look around. So we've talked about space, we've talked about time, I talked about possessions and didn't even mean to. I talked about cleaning and throwing things away and I didn't mean to. Gosh, I'm blitzing through this. Who even needs notes? The last two, and I'm dropping things as well, perfect. The last two kind of go hand in hand, being mindful about my presence and the people around me. I'm going to go with presence first because I've got a little bit of a story for you. But this just has to do with, this is also being mindful of myself, but my posture and how I look towards others, how others see me. I want to sit and stand up straight more. I want to have a more confident and open posture, because frankly, when I look at someone, if I see them hunched over and, scrunched up and everything, subconsciously, we see that as like a negative. And I know also there's, scientific evidence that if you stand and take up more space and everything, you feel more confident. And I want to exude that for myself and for others, just as a person. So kind of being mindful of my presence, and then my posture as well for when I'm sitting, to not injure my back long term. I sit terribly. currently. Right now, even like literally right now, it's not the best. But sometimes I lean over my armrests, and I'm sure I'm doing damage that I'll feel in the near future. Hopefully not, but maybe. Now, mindful of the people around me. This is something that I've kind of always been. I've always been aware of the people around me and how they respond to me and how I respond to them. And I had an experience today that kind of sucked. To just briefly go over it, I may be making a bigger deal about nothing, but I had someone who I considered a friend, or at least a very close acquaintance, or a decently close acquaintance for how often we see each other. We play Disney's Lorcana together, the Magic the Gathering for Disney, basically. And there was a tournament today, and he was playing at one yesterday, so he's already won one. He already has the prize for this round of tournaments. It's a play mat that says champion. So he played yesterday, and he knocked me out of the top 4, so I didn't have a chance to win. And that kind of sucked. Today, he's playing the same thing. We get to top 2. Again, he's already won one. He's using the mat that he won. And instead of my friend, letting me take the win, or, us talking about something, because there were other prizes as well. You got packs of cards being like, hey, I'll just let you have the win. You give me all your packs or something. If you lose, we can make something work. He just beat me again. And I get it. We go to play. We go to be competitive. If you don't win, you don't win. But I feel fine saying this because there has been 2 other occasions where I have won a mat and then went and played another one and, got to either the semifinals or the finals. One time I got to semifinals and I was playing against one of my friends, and I didn't want to just give him the game and say you can have it because that didn't feel right. So I just made minor misplays throughout. I absolutely had him. I could have won the game, but I didn't need to. So I made some mistakes and let him win, and that felt good. And then last time, I had already won, and the person I was playing against in the finals had already won. But I had a friend who really, really wanted the prize. And so I said, okay, I will try to win one to give it to you. And that was the only other occasion where I thought it's okay, it's more acceptable for me to win. So I could give it to someone. And the difference between this and what I did and what this other person did was that a couple hours after, he messaged me and said, hey man, if you want, I'll sell it to you for $50. And never did it occur to me when I was winning the mat for my friend, I'm going to try to sell it to them or trade it to them. It was, they want this and I was able to get it, so I'm going to give it to them. And it kind of annoyed me that, someone I considered my friend decided to sort of hog that for himself. And so that he specifically said, now I have one that I can have unopened or can sell. And that kind of sucks because he knows that I'm the type of person that would enjoy playing with it and showing it off. And it's not like I didn't, deserve it in a way, right? I've won championships for the last couple sets. I'm a good player. He just had a deck that countered on it. So maybe I make a big deal about nothing, but that's just how I personally feel on it. And it helped me think that, as much as that sucked, I want to make sure that I'm not being that type of person, because that's just not the type of person I want to be. I want to be the person that looks out for the people around him, be it friend or just a random street. That's all I have, and I realize I've actually been rambling for a long time, so this is probably going to be just about the full video. But that's everything for this week. Hopefully I'll have more everything cleaned in my apartment and more stuff for next week. But yeah, other than that, I can't really complain. It's been going pretty well. So thanks for listening, and I hope that you have a great week. Bye-bye.